Hello, TikTok. I don't know if y'all are keeping up with the Pakistan India conflict. I know a lot of people ain't. I know the U.S. media isn't, but maybe they should pay a little more attention to it because this war could end up having a big economic impact on the United States themselves, and it's a good idea to keep an eye on it because it looks like it could go to nuclear war. It looks like it could set the stage for a possible nuclear exchange between India and Pakistan. So basically, there was a terrorist attack where 28 people were basically murdered, and India claims that the terrorists were from Pakistan. And then, like a day later or something, I think it may have been the exact same day, not exactly sure, it could have been slightly before the attack, but basically Pakistan smiling at India, being like, we're not touching you type deal. Basically, they're kind of openly admitting that they did it without admitting that they did it, which ticked off India. And since that attack has happened, there's been basically cross-border shootouts between India and Pakistan over this one region that they've been fighting over forever. They're saying that this could be the fifth India-Pakistan war that happened in history. They're both nuclear exchanges. Pakistan saying if India strikes at Pakistan's going to hit them with a nuclear weapon. India is now training people to basically, they're training people to basically, like, those civilians for the possibility of a nuclear war. And again, this has broad impacts on consumer goods here in the United States. I mean, India is one of our biggest trading partners. They're also a big trading partner with Russia. So, like, it's the one time us and Russia kind of on the same side, even though we're enemies over Ukraine in almost every other instance. But this one instance, not so much. But China, Turkey, Iran are all backing Pakistan here. And it's getting real. Like, the possibility of World War III is becoming more and more realized every single day. And if a nuclear exchange does happen here between Pakistan and India, it's going to set a really bad standard on the world, because you're probably going to start seeing Ukraine actually, not Ukraine, but Vladimir Putin actually use a nuke in Ukraine, because once the veil is broken, it's broken. Other people will start wanting to use their nuclear weapons when war hits too. We already know Iran is trying to get a nuclear weapon, wants a nuclear weapon. We don't have any evidence that they have one, but it's a possibility they may already have one, because they said last year that by the end of the year they will have it, which is, that year already passed. That was 2024. We're now in 2025. I imagine by now they have a nuclear weapon. We say they don't. At least we don't have any evidence that they don't, but it's more than likely they have a nuclear weapon. It reminds me a lot of the North Korea incident, where we were trying to keep North Korea from getting a nuclear weapon, but secretly they had at least 2 nuclear weapons for like a couple years after we discovered that they had nuclear weapons. So most likely that's the same thing with Iran. They probably have a couple of nuclear weapons already. I mean, that's probably just reality. So yeah, we see tensions in the Middle East going off. Israel is dealing with the Houthis or whatever. Yeah, in Somalia, whatever. Yeah, wherever they're targeting the U.S. shipping and manufacturing in the Red Sea. We got a lot of problems with the world in general, and probably the conflicts going on. But yeah, I've been just watching, I guess, India Today, because that's the only thing I can find that's basically in English, and I can see it's just 100% pure propaganda. India is saying how tough they are, how strong they are, how strong the military are, how weak Pakistan is, how this war will end in like 7 days and stuff. And like, you see people online commenting all the time about, the conflict, what's going on. It's like, okay, you guys do know that this is propaganda. Like this ain't actually real. It's 100% India trying to flush their muscles and to show people that they're actually strong. I mean, this is a thing that happens with countries. If you're going to war with a country, of course you're going to say you can easily beat the other country. That's what propaganda is about. It's about giving people hope that things won't be that bad, when in reality it's actually going to be bad. And I think the people of India and Pakistan need to actually realize how bad it's actually going to get, because y'all both have nuclear weapons and y'all both already threatening to use nuclear weapons on each other. You have the capability of starting possibly World War III and impacting not just yourselves, but other countries around you in that region. Not only that, but the rest of the world as well, because when nuclear exchange happens, it sets the stage. It breaks the veil and sets the stage for a much bigger conflict. And we're already seeing all of our enemies based where they're lining up, basically. Like I said, this is the only one instance where us and Russia actually are in agreement and China isn't, which is making even more interesting, since Iran, China, and Russia are allies. So where does that put it? Like, where does that put the ally if World War III breaks out? It becomes interesting. I know Russia's sending India missiles, so that's a good thing, I think, in the long run, to help defend India, because again, India is one of our biggest trading partners in the United States, and if something happens like a war, a nuclear exchange, or something like that, that means that the U.S. economy is not going to do well. It really isn't. It's going to fucking crash. And it's going to be bad. And the impacts are going to be devastating if something like that happens. We got to keep that in mind. That's why I say most Americans should actually be mindful of what's happening in India, because it not only sets the stage, but it's going to be bad for everyone's wallets at the same time. Everyone's going to suffer as a result of what happens in India. I mean, this is the problem with global trading, right? Like, if one country is basically like China or India or whatever, is engaged in very high risk activities, whether it's war, terrorism, whatever, diseases, doesn't matter. It's going to affect the rest of the world. It's going to affect us, and it's going to affect our wallets. It's going to affect our money. It's going to affect the value of the dollar, and it's going to make everyone's lives worse as a result. Now, I'm all for global trading and stuff like that, free trading and stuff like that, but that only works if we actually can produce stuff here in the United States and not have to really rely so much on stuff from overseas. As long as we don't make anything here, we are going to be impacted by whatever happens globally. And that could be World War III, that could be diseases, that could be anything, that could be a number of things. And it's going to hurt us. It's going to make food prices go sky high. It's going to make gas prices go sky high. It's going to make our lives much worse. So yeah, we need to bring manufacturing back to the United States, and this is one of the reasons why. If we bring manufacturing to the United States, we wouldn't worry so much about the India-Pakistan conflict and stuff like that. Now, I'm praying for those people. I'm praying that nothing happens, but India's already preparing their civilians for the possibility of a nuclear war. So everyone needs to keep that in mind. And the only thing I guess you can do at this point is pray, because it's looking like nuclear war is very likely in that region.